Just a couple of days ago, I was starting to plan a career mode series that I'm going to upload on this channel, and while I was in the pre-game menu, I finally went through and looked what all of these settings do. It turns out there's one that I had been ignoring for years that actually makes career mode a lot more fun for the way that we like to play. If you're big into realism, then the chances are you find this game either too easy unless you force yourself to play realistically, or you hate the idea of being able to sign whoever you want, and I am exactly the same. I always sign the same players or spend hours trying to find one that I would consider to be realistic, and that really did make playing career mode a little bit of a chore. But before this save, I realised I could go in here and turn off player search. Now this doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal, but believe me, in the season that I've played so far, I've had an absolutely amazing time. Not only is my career mode going by quicker, but it's also been less stressful, and it's just generally been so much better because I'm not spending an hour searching for a player every time I need to sign someone. It actually also combines with one of this year's newest features really well too. Without wanting to spoil the career mode series that's going to be on this channel soon, let's start a new save as Valencia. And before we start, it's time to use the new feature, which of course is the deeper simulation setting. This gives actual stats to players from the leagues that you pick. In our case, we want to pick the big 4 leagues, as well as Spain, which is already simulated, and our second division, because we're going to use this to find new players. So we go into the transfer window in Season 1, and I really needed to sign 2 new players. I needed a half-winger central midfielder, and I needed a target man who could play as striker. This meant that I was searching for 2 players with my scouts in the traditional way. I'd given them these targets, and they were going out to try and find and recommend players all over the world for me to use. But I also used the deeper simulation stats to try and find a player using kind of a Moneyball style too. It's a bit annoying the stats don't go deep enough to have a headers win percentage or something like that, but we do kind of have an abstract set of information that we can find. Thankfully, you can see a player's height really easily and get a rundown of some of their key attributes, which does allow you to find someone who could potentially play as a target man. This way of limiting the amount of information you have before signing someone really can't be underestimated. All of a sudden, it felt like I had 2 choices. Either I could risk making a signing about someone I didn't know everything about, or I could spend about a month scouting someone to make sure they fit into my system. That meant when I got a big bid in Season 1 for my centre back, I couldn't just spend an hour finding his ideal replacement on the transfer list. Instead, I went into the second division, looked at which team was doing the best and which defenders of theirs were doing the best on average rating, and I considered those, adding those to my shortlist. I also looked at some of the players I remembered were really tough to beat when I'd played against them earlier in the season from teams lower down the league table, and added those into my shortlist too. But because I only had a couple of days left in the transfer window, I couldn't fully scout these players. That meant that I had to take a calculated risk and try and find the right signing to fix the centre-back gap. Moments like this are so rare in career mode, and it really did give a massive glimpse into how tough being a real-life football manager surely must be. If my entire career was down to this one decision of which centre-back to sign, then yeah, I would be feeling the pressure. But all of this amazing, dynamic, emergent gameplay, I guess you would call it, was down to me just turning off player search. When it's enabled, as I've said before, I would just spend so long finding the perfect signing, and that just made things way too easy. Whereas now, you either have to plan and have your scouts already looking for positions the entire season just in case you get a bid, or if you need someone quickly, you have to use statistics to find the right player, or a combination of statistics and your own ball knowledge to find someone that would fill that gap. Now I will be honest and say I got this transfer badly wrong. The guy that I sold had pace in the low 70s and my replacement had 43. I was playing a high line and I had no idea the guy was this slow. And yeah, I know in real life a manager probably would know someone was really slow, but the fact that this transfer went badly made the save more fun too. I was then trying to rotate either between my new guy, who had really good defensive stats and no pace, or my backup, who had so much pace but could barely defend and was actually a left back. In Season 2 of the save, I actually decided to switch up my tactics and go from playing long ball counter-attack to something a bit more possession based. But again, that made it really hard for me to find the right players to fill the gaps that I now had in my squad. But there was this one team in my league last season that I remember absolutely bossed me when it came to possession. Normally I was on about 50-50, but they had close to 70%, and it was really hard to get the ball off their central midfielders. So guess what I did? I bought both of them from the season before because I was the bigger club in that league. This time, the signings did work. They both had press-proven and technical playstyles, and I could play really good possession play with these new guys. Basically, by turning off player search, I all of a sudden have had one of my favourite career mode saves of all time, and I'm only in Season 2. I really recommend that you give it a try after you've finished watching this video. If you combine it with deeper simulations, as I said, and use statistics, but also change this other option to reduce the speed of scouting, you can have what is probably the most realistic and toughest FIFA transfer experience that has ever existed. For someone that loves realism, this one change is going to be something that I take into every single save I do from now on. No more searching the free agents list for the best Mexican free agents in the world. No more looking at the transfer list and debating whether I should sign that player from India while I'm in League 2. My scouts probably wouldn't have found him, and I have no idea who these guys are. There'll also be no more signing loan players from the MLS where I've never heard of them, my scouts have never heard of them, they've never heard of my club, but they have good stats, so I sign them anyway. Instead, every signing that I'm going to make from now on is going to be justifiable, either because I've got the right statistics to back my signing, or because my scout is recommending them to me, and that is exactly how real life football works. Thank you so much for watching this video, I really do appreciate it, and let me know if you've got any other tips or tricks that I should know about to make my save even better. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to watch that series when it comes out and I edit it next week, and check out the video in the playlist on screen right now if you want some more content. But thank you for watching, hope you have a great weekend, I'll see you soon, cheers and goodbye.